Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Beverly Hillbillies Facts and Trivia. Y'all kick off your shoes and you set a spell, all right? Now here's your host for the show, the old Kentucky boy himself, Mr. Bob Snap.
Hi guys, welcome to the Beverly Hillbillies Facts and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Today's video. About a week ago, I put one out on the truck, a Clampett truck, and it went over very well. So I figured, what the heck, let's do one on some of the vehicles from Beverly Hillbillies. Let's just get into it and see what we can do. And I verified this with a friend of mine who I trust very much. So let's watch. Jed's money is kept and managed by his banker, next door neighbor, Milburn Drysdale. Early in the series, Drysdale's Imperial was a frequent sight. Time went on, a car in Drysdale's ownership was less frequently seen. Towards the end of the series run in 71, there was another Drysdale Imperial to make an appearance. With the show being set in upscale Beverly Hills, there was frequent need to project the affluence of persons interacting with the Clampetts. To accomplish this, Imperial's various guises were frequently seen, such as the Imperial Crown convertible, along with another convertible in black or some other dark color. The four-door hardtops could be found also, primarily in the visitor was being chauffeured. The product placement by the Chrysler Corporation was delightfully rampant and charmingly obvious. Many of the self-driven visitors of the Clampett estate were fond of A-body Mopars. Seen a number of the early episodes recently. The driver of the Valiant convertible was a French lady whose French poodle was impregnated by the Clampett bloodhound Duke, despite her being betrothed to Mrs. Drysdale's poodle. Jed and the lady had a similar attraction, but presumably nothing come of it. Often people who learned of the Clampett fortune, who attempted to swindle them. Not so naive family. Chickadee Laverne was a professional stripper who arrived at Clampett's in an engagement. She was thinking of a performance showcasing her inclusion of a raccoon in her act. Clampetts thought she was going to marry Jethro. At one point, Jed asked Chickadee about where she was before coming to California. She responded she came from Burlesque in New York. Jed responded with a big smile and said, "Burlesque, New York. It sounds like a mighty fine town." Other times, the shyster drove a nice older Chrysler New Yorker convertible. Not all the Valiants pulling up to the door were convertibles, such as this Valiant wagon with a business name plastered on the door. In fact, there was a lot of service vehicles being seen during the course of the series, such as this sharp half-ton Dodge that was owned by an asphalt company. For those not fond of pickups, there was an occasional Dodge panel van to be seen. Incidentally, the panel van was seen the episode of The Giant Jackrabbit. The ratings of the Beverly Hillbillies were so high that episode was the highest rated half hour of television ever at the time of the first broadcast. This episode remains the most watched half hour episode of a situation comedy ever in the United States. Also, incidentally, actress Sharon Tate appears in The Giant Jackrabbit. Tate was one of the victims of the Manson family murder spree in '69. Early on, with the acclimating to the vast cultural differences found in Beverly Hills, the Clampetts had frequent dealings with law enforcement who would show up in their '63 Dodge 330. This despite their heading to the estate in '59 Dodge two-door. It wasn't unusual for the Clampetts to get their officers drunk on some home brew, or for one of them to become so enamored by Ellie Mae in a swimsuit they would forget their purpose for visiting. The show insinuated Ellie Mae as being about 15 or 16 years old, despite the actress Donna Douglas being in her early 30s. Perhaps the same distraction happened in the film's editor if he thought a 1959 Dodge looked like a '63 Dodge. Every once in a while, European cars can be found in the Beverly Hills. Often, these were Rolls Royce in keeping up with the money theme. Another time, there was an MG featured that belonged to a disgruntled secretary at the Commerce Bank. Sadly, it succumbed to a well-placed karate chop. Clampetts also owned a castle in England. When they visited, there were plenty of European cars to be seen. The bulk of the time, Commerce Bank President Milburn Drysdale was being carted around in the Secretary Jane Hathaway. Drysdale being portrayed as an unrepentant skinflint, it simply made more financial sense for him to his secretary into driving, saving fuel money by not piloting the Imperial around. Miss Jane had very good taste in cars, must have been quite reasonably paid by Drysdale, as she curiously had a new Dodge B-body convertible every season. However, Miss Jane was in a Plymouth for the first season, as seen here. Likely even Chrysler didn't want to bring any more undue attention to the homely 62 Dodge. However, by the end of the series, Miss Jane had transitioned to an E-body. Her cars were always red. Interestingly, Miss Jane's B-bodies often lacked a windshield, and the cars found in the collar episodes often had their badges painted body color. Despite the sheer variety of primarily Chrysler-branded products seen in the show, the automotive star was Haggard 1921 Oldsmobile that started life as a Model 41 Roadster. Intended as a salute to the Job family from Truckster, from John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath, this old pickup didn't even belong to Jed. It belonged to Jethro's mother, Pearl. Truck was the frequent butt of jokes and good-natured humor throughout the series, such as the occasional dose of rheumatism medicine into the fuel tank that yielded a phenomenal acceleration and top speed. At one point, Jethro tired of the backwardness and tired-looking appearance of the pickup. Being given an unknown amount of money by Jed, Jethro was ridiculed about how he had the truck warmed over. Second attempt didn't yield a better result. There you go. I'm going to do one on Miss Jane's cars as well. This friend of mine I was telling you about earlier in the video, he's big into Jane Hathaway's convertibles, so I'm going to get him to help me out on that. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please don't forget about classic rock and country music facts and trivia. Head on over there. Please subscribe. Please. Pretty please. Thank you. Have a great day. God bless. I'll be praying for you.